Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001. More importantly, we are booking the Invasion angle, and tonight we will be running the go-home show for Invasion, which, I mean the pay-per-view, not the whole company-wide angle we're running right now. So, we're running the go-home show for Raw, and we got a pretty big show here planned out. I'm actually pretty excited for this episode of Raw, as I am excited for this week's episode of SmackDown, and I'm excited for Invasion, because Invasion was one of the pay-per-views that I, heavily booked beforehand, because, well, hell, it's one of the most important plot points of the series, you know? Either way, we had a locker room incident, and positive as per usual, since we've been having that lately, and it's just another protege tip thing where The Undertaker was passing along tips on psychology to Mark Jindrak. Taker's really making Jindrak a star. Speaking of Mark Jindrak, we have ourselves a pre-show match, the only pre-show match of the night, so I guess by default, that would make it the main event of the pre-show. Either way, we have the team of WWF's Dean Malenko and the Hardy Boys, the WCW Tag Team Champions, battling the WCW Cruiserweight Champion, not WCW Champion, WCW Cruiserweight Champion Rey Mysterio Jr. and Mark Jindrak and Shawn Stasiak. Of course, Jindrak, as we mentioned before, the protege to The Undertaker. Let's see if it helped him out in this match. So it had decent wrestling, not much weighing heat. Malenko and the Hardys winning after Matt Hardy defeated Stasiak with a twist of fate. Jeff was off his game, unfortunately. Regal did some good work ringside. Jindrak's getting better at his I almost said Mark Jindrak is getting better at his Gindrak. He's getting better at his gimmick. Announcing quality lifted it. Color commentary, yep. Dean Malenko had an in-ring performance of a B. Matt Hardy had a B-, and Jeff Hardy had a B, so it looks like Malenko and Jeff were the strongest competitors of the match. Rey Mysterio Jr. had a C+, Stasiak had a C-, and Mark Jindrak had a C-. So we move on to our worker improvements. Rey Mysterio's improving in technical, and Jeff Hardy's improving in performance. All positives. And I would like to look at this real quick. Let's see if they all have star quality at least. Jeff has star quality. Matt has star quality. Dean does not, but Mark Jindrak does. Shawn Stasiak does, and Rey Mysterio. Dean Malenko, come on, my man. You got to get that star quality up. So we move on to the start of the show, and we get an A rating. Monday Night Raw opens up to Shane McMahon's music. Here comes the money, as he and the rest of Team WCW, being Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page, Chris Benoit, and Ric Flair, making his debut, I guess. They make their way towards the ring. Once in the ring, Shane McMahon takes the mic and he begins to call out his father, and he says, well, here we are, just 6 days away until probably one of the most, if not the most important pay-per-view in professional wrestling history. This Sunday, two companies who have been at war for years go head-to-head for the first time, and I'll be honest, guys, if we lose, then that will be WCW's last stand. But if we win, we practically guarantee our permanent existence over on SmackDown, on the WCW brand. And I've got to be honest, I don't want to jinx us or anything, but I like our chances. And if I were my dad, I'd be shaking in my boots right about now. That's when Vince McMahon's music hits, and he comes out alongside the rest of Team WWF, The Rock, Chris Jericho, Big Show, The Undertaker, and Kane. I know I only have Big Show and Chris Jericho presented here. I'll explain that in a few minutes. Actually, we'll probably see why. But imagine that the rest of them are, because I cannot have the entirety of Team WWF along with Team WCW in the same angle, unfortunately. So they all make their way out to the entryway. I just have these guys on here for a specific reason. And then Vince says, you're confident, and I should be shaking in my boots? Well, son, I guess I wasted... Oh, we got to go to our notepad here. I guess I wasted all that money I spent on sending you to private school, because apparently you never learned to count, Shane. Because by my math, it currently stands my 5 to your 4. That is, unless you've decided to join your team as its final member. Shane then responds, No, Dad. I'm not WCW's final member. That gentleman will be revealed this week on WCW SmackDown. But Dad, I'm sure you'll be happy to know that you didn't waste any money on my schooling, because that's all about. That's all it's about with you. It's money. But no, your money wasn't. Your money was well spent, because I can count. And as it stands right now, Dad, you're the one at the disadvantage, because if my math's correct, it's currently my 5, soon to be 6, to your 4. You see, not only does Team WCW have our four-time WCW World Champion, but we also got our WCW People's Champion, Diamond Dallas Page, the man who beat your team captain. But not only that, we have the mentor and his protege. We've got the Nature Boy and the Canadian Crippler. We got the 16-time World Champion and the current WCW United States and WWF Intercontinental Champion, Ric Flair and Chris Benoit. And then there's, my... How do you say it? How'd you say it back on SmackDown? Oh, that's right. My inside man. Although I'm having a hard time remembering which one it was. I want to say it was Chris Jericho, but it also could be your bodyguard, The Big Show. Hell, it could be both. But I promise you, Dad, that WCW has had an inside man for this entire time. And come Invasion, Team WCW will be victorious. And I'd imagine maybe Shane McMahon's music hits after that, while Shane McMahon and, Team WWF just kind of look at both Jericho and Big Show while they're both like, what the fuck? And, what's their names? JR and King are like, uh-oh, we might have an insider or something. Either way, Angle got the show, the Angle got the show to a, what am I trying to say? The Angle got the show off to a strong start. It also got the crowd hotter. Diamond Dallas Page looking good out there, kind of a star. And the performance of Big Show was good. Now, that is the main reason why I had Big Show and Jericho, because Shane McMahon personally kind of points attention at both Big Show and Jericho, suggesting that one of them, possibly both of them, could be working for Team WCW. It gained heat for the Invasion angle, also with Jericho and Booker T. So that's why, Rock, Taker, and Kane didn't make the cut. Otherwise, I would have just had it been Vince and Big Show, probably. And Shane McMahon is developing better performance skills, so good for him. A rating to start the show. I'd imagine going to commercial after this. We come back from our commercial break to an A-star rating. I even put that right here. Back from our commercial break, and we see a complete pandemonium, not pandemonium, whatever the hell I wrote there. Pandemonium has broken out into the WWE, complete hell pretty much, has broken out in Team WWF's locker room, as we have Rock, Taker, and kind of Kane, who's just really kind of standing there looking menacing. Rock and Taker are both at, Jericho and Big Show's throats after what Shane McMahon just said, and Taker's just standing there, and he goes, so which one of you two want to fess up? Who's the weasel for Shane? And Jericho says, you gotta be kidding me. You guys can't really be believing this. This is exactly what Shane wants you to think. He wants us to kill each other from the inside out. And then Rock says, oh, shut your mouth, Jericho. We know it's you. Me? Yeah, you. Shane clearly said his inside man, the exact same thing Mr. McMahon called you on SmackDown. But not only that, we saw you and Shane talking, and he offered you a spot on WCW. Hell, for all we know, you could be the final member for Team WCW. Jericho then replies, oh, give it a break. If you were paying attention at all, Junior, you would have seen that I turned Shane's offer down. Taker then replies, you could have. But you also could have always... You did. I don't know, I messed that up. He says, you could have always gone back and accepted it. But I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't think Chris is the guy. If anything, sounds like Shane is trying to set him up. If anything, it's Show who has the most to gain by going back. And then Big Show surprisingly responds, me? Oh, come on, I hated that place. Why the hell would I ever want to go back? Taker then goes, Jericho hated that place too. Why would he want to go back, especially since Jericho was treated like crap over there? But you, on the other hand, you were handed everything you could ever have wanted. And now that things seem better over in WCW land, maybe now the Giant has a reason to go back. That's when, the four men, I imagine Jericho and Rock and Taker and Big Show are kind of, in each other's faces, pushing each other, while Kane, like I said, is just kind of really standing there looking menacing. Vince finally steps up and he goes, all right, that's enough. Shut up. Look, I don't know what to believe. You've both worked for WCW in the past. And I wouldn't put it past either of you to jump ship because, hell, we've seen it in the past. Hell, it could be both of you for all I know, damn it. But I refuse to believe it. Show, you've been one of the most loyal superstars I've ever had the pleasure of hiring. Hell, once I came back from my injury, you stepped up to make sure that nothing would happen again and became my bodyguard. And Chris, you were one of the first people to step up and fight against WCW when this invasion started. My son wants us to fight and it worked, damn it. So if you all want to fight so bad, then you'll fight tonight because it'll be Chris Jericho and Big Show teaming up to face the WWF Tag Team Champions, The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction. But after tonight, I need all of you on the same page. Don't let my bastard son get in your heads. The WWF needs to put an end to this war, and that starts tonight. So go out there and end all this friction before it gets out of control, damn it. And that sets up our main event. Vince says you guys want to fight, then fight, but let it be the end of all this friction after tonight. I need you guys all on the same page, practically, because my son's just trying to get in our heads, and I'm not going to let it work. So I got the crowd hatter, and the performance of Kane was good. Out of everybody in this angle, Kane's standing there just looking menacing. It was like, yeah, he looks menacing. He's doing a good job. So the announcers indeed put over that later on tonight. We will see faction warfare as Team WWF implodes as Jericho and Big Show team up to take on the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Brothers of Destruction. We then go on to our opening match of the night, which gets a B rating. Holy hell. A B rating in a decent match. Kanyon and Hugh Morris defeating Edge and Christian. Yep. The WCW the number one contenders, I should say, to the WCW Tag Team Championships. Kanyon and Hugh Morris pulling up yet another upset victory. This time it's really an upset victory because it's over Edge and Christian, not Chronic. As they defeat Edge and Christian when Kanyon defeated Edge with the Flattener. So before I get on to the Road Agent report, let me kind of explain the way I would have this go down. So for one, Lance Storm is on commentary for this match. We can even see right here, once again, his announcing job was pretty weak, but again, that's to be expected. He's not the best microphone worker. We've already known that. But, so the way I'd have this going down is the match is looking pretty good. Edge and Christian are kind of in control for the majority of it. And then Edge is kind of like looking for the spear on Kanyon, has it set up, waiting for him to get up. And as he's running for the spear, Hugh Morris coming in clutch again, pulling Kanyon out of the way. Edge accidentally spears Christian, which leads to Kanyon hitting the flatliner on Edge to get the 1-2-3. And I can just see the two men kind of celebrating while Canyon's just kind of surprised that Hugh Morris, it worked again. Surprised it's got a B rating, though. Look at Hugh Morris coming in clutch with his Bs. All Hugh Morris, by the way. Now, Kanyon, Edge, Christian don't have anything. We'll see in a second because he'll have the best. See, it's like golf. The lower it is, the better. Either way, Christian's getting better at his gimmick, which I expected to happen over time. Despite, it being rated as awful, he's still, rated like excellent in the category for it. So over time, it'll get better. It's just because it was so soon after, or so soon from his current gimmick, I guess, from a change or some bullshit. Either way, Edge and Christian have excellent chemistry as per usual. So does Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. I already had said that Lance Storm was pretty weak, but it still lifted the quality. Kanyon had an in-ring performance of a B-. Hugh Morris at a C, and Edge and Christian both at a B+, and it gained heat to the Lance Storm, Edge and Christian feud. But we'll probably lose heat in a couple seconds, because moving on to our next segment, yep, we did. We go to a C+, and Edge is upset about his loss, but he goes over to help his brother up, because, he realizes I speared him, it's my bad. He helps his brother up, but Christian pushes him, and then Edge pushes Christian back, and the two just begin to argue and bicker. That's when Lance Storm gets in the ring with a mic, and he says, "You two are jokes. The one thing that you two are supposedly good at, you can't even get right. You two just lost to two guys who can't even get along. And you two think that you stand a chance against me this Sunday? Your sibling rivalry will cost you this championship." And he holds it up, I'd imagine. And then he ends it off by saying, "Not only are you both a disgrace to Canada, but you're a disgrace to your family." And that's when Edge and Christian have finally heard enough, and they finally start working together like the team we know they are. And they both start taking out Lance Storm, working together as a team. Eventually, Christian hits the unprettier, or the kill switch, as it's known as now, on Lance Storm. And Lance Storm, as he hits his head on the canvas, bounces up immediately. And Edge hits him with the spear as he bounces up. And Storm just kind of lays there as Edge and Christian stand over Storm, maybe even holding up the Canadian Championship together. And it did lose heat, but that's, I guess, to be expected. So we go to an A rating, and I'd imagine this being before commercial break, so after this we'd probably go to a commercial break. That's a little surprising. A rating, and we see Vince McMahon. He's pacing back and forth in his office while he hears, not a nicking, but a knocking on the door. And McMahon, kind of, I don't know the word, but he's kind of he's out of it right now. So he's like, yeah, who is it coming? He asks who is it, but then he tells him to come in. And that's when Kurt freaking Angle walks in, and then McMahon's like, you. And then Kurt's like, hey, boss, I was wondering if you got a minute for your favorite superstar. And then McMahon's just kind of like staring at him all angrily, and he's like, the hell do you want? And Angle responds, well, Mr. McMahon, I couldn't help but overhear earlier tonight that you might have some traitors on your hand. McMahon just mocks him, saying, yeah, you know all about that, wouldn't you, Kurt? And then Kurt Angle responds, Mr. McMahon, I don't know how many times I have to say it, but don't bother, Kurt. I don't have time to hear your apology letter over and over again. Well, then hear me out, Mr. McMahon. Put me on the bench, coach. You don't have to put me on your team, but let me be your backup in case Jericho and or Show turn on you. How do I know that you're not the inside man, Kurt? It would make sense you were the first one to turn on the WWF. And then Kurt responds finally saying, then let me prove it to you, Mr. McMahon. And then Vince sits there for a couple seconds and he starts thinking and he goes, if you want to prove to me that you're a WWF guy, Kurt, then I'll give you your damn chance. But I want you to go out there and I want you to get back one of my damn titles. Then maybe, I'll believe you or something. I don't know. What surprises me here, though, is, as usual, Kurt Angle likes going off script. And he, as always, well, not as always, but he, enjoyed his freedom, performing well, as usual. Mr. McMahon, who I thought would have done phenomenal going off script as well, apparently did not do well following that script. And that's kind of interesting to me. Still got an A rating, though, so. He stumbled over his lines just as much as I did. So we go on to a B+ rating. We're back from our commercial break. Kurt Angle's in the ring with the microphone, and he says, Benoit? Oh, I'm sorry. I said that really loud. That was like, my apologies, nerds and geeks. I probably blew out your earphones. You have something that belongs to the WWF. My one and true home. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Woo! But I still haven't earned the trust from my amazing boss yet, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. But tonight that ends, because he's giving me a chance to earn that trust back. And he sent me out here on a mission to get one of his titles back. So Benoit, I know I can beat you, and I deserve to be the WWF Intercontinental Champion. Oh, it's true. So Benoit, get your freaking butt out here, mister. And after a few seconds, Benoit doesn't come out, but the music of Ron Simmons hits, and he makes his way out towards the ring with a mic in hand. He says, Kurt, ain't no one taking you seriously. I'm not taking you seriously. I guarantee Vince ain't taking you seriously. And Chris Benoit certainly ain't taking your ass seriously. I mean, how many times does he have to beat you to shut you up? Obviously, he ain't getting the job done. So now it's my turn. Vince never specified which championship for you to go after, did he? Nah, he just said, get me one of my damn titles back. Well, you know what? If he wants his title back, I said come get it. And if you're his victim of choice, so be it. And then that's when Angle goes, yeah, well, you're on, pal. And we have our match. Kurt Angle versus Ron Simmons, not Rhino, like I was about to say, in an impromptu match for the Hardcore Championship. And the freaking butt thing, you get your freaking butt out here and you're on, pal. I got to give credit to my boy Chris. That was all on him. And it's perfect. I love comedy Kurt Angle back in the day. And it made me laugh. We laughed for a good couple of seconds. Ron Simmons, unfortunately, performed poorly in this segment. I did not have let Kurt Angle go off script for here because I didn't trust Ron Simmons off script. So we go on to our match, which gets a B-, and a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Ron Simmons defeating Kurt Angle and retaining his Hardcore Championship by pinfall with a Dominator after interference from Ric Flair. Ron Simmons making his third defense of the WWF Hardcore Championship. So the way I'd imagine this going down is Kurt possibly setting up for like an ankle lock, getting ready for it, and Ric Flair coming down and like grabbing, or standing up on the apron or something and grabbing Kurt, and then Kurt maybe, clocking him with the right, before Rick can really, get involved. And then he turns around and Ron Simmons already up and lifts him up for the Dominator, hits it, possibly a steel chair or something because this is a hardcore match. 1, 2, 3. Ron Simmons retains the championship and gets a huge victory over Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had an in-ring performance of a B+, a whole grade over Ron Simmons, C+. No worker improvements, though. As we move on to our next segment, I'd imagine coming back from a commercial break, as I say right here in the commentary as well, we go to a B rating, which this is surprising, a B rating, holy hell. Stacy Keibler alongside the Natural Born Thrillers, Sean Stasiak, wrong person, Sean O'Hare, not Sean Stasiak, and Chuck Palumbo are in the ring, and Stacy has the mic, and she says, "This is complete and utter bull crap. The Undertaker and Kane, the supposed baddest team in the WWF, are too afraid to face my boys, that they ran to their boss and practically begged him to put them on his team so they couldn't defend their championships against us. Well, I won't stand for it. Taker, Kane, you don't scare me. And I'm challenging you both this Thursday on SmackDown. Either step up and prove me wrong, or show everyone here that you really have no testicles." But instead of the Brothers of Destruction coming out, that's when Test and Albert's music hits, and out they come. And Stacy says, "Speaking of testicles, it's Trish Stratus, only the hottest guy in the world. I mean, girl." And then Trish just goes, "That's cute. You're cute, Stacy. But what you aren't is smart. Because The Undertaker and Kane aren't going to waste their time on you. Because they know who the real true number one contenders are. And that's us. And the last time I checked, we're both 1-1 in singles action. And since the champs have their hands full over on Team WWF, I say, how about this Sunday at Invasion, we find out which is the true better tag team. Let's fight over the number one contendership. How about we do TNA versus the Natural Born Thrillers?" And then I'd imagine Stacy just going on and saying, "Oh, you'll regret this. You're on." And that confirms that this Sunday at Invasion we'll have a number one contenders match for the WWF Tag Team Championships, as the WWF's Test and Albert TNA take on WCW's Natural Born Thrillers, Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare. Let's go ahead and put that in real quick. Number one contender ship for WWF tag titles. And let's see if we can fit in their company names with them. There we go. It is confirmed. And we also have apparently confirmed that Mick Foley will indeed take on Regal in a hardcore match, or as I like to put it, an Aussie Rules match. We have the Canadian Championship in a triple threat with Lance Storm, Edge and Christian, Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight title, and the Hardy Boys taking on Canyon and Hugh Morris. The reason why the WWF match versus Team WCW match isn't on here is because we haven't seen the final member of Team WCW. Albert learning to show more charisma, and Sean O'Hare improving in acting. Good on them both. So we go on to our next segment. This is weird because maybe this would probably be after a commercial break as well, or we have something in between. I don't know. But Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hits. Maybe, this would probably be like an in-between. Like, I'd imagine JR and King probably announcing, like, talking about it. "Well, it's confirmed, King." My dog just, like, rolled over on top of my cat. Anyway, sorry, I got a little distracted there. My dog doesn't really come and chill with me, so since nobody's home, he's in the room with me. And he's, like, right on top of my cat right now. I'm rubbing his belly. Either way, like, I'd imagine JR and King putting over that we will see indeed this Sunday Test and Albert battle the Natural Born Thrillers for the number one contendership for the tag team titles. And that's when Stone Cold Steve Austin's music interrupts him, and out he comes alongside his protege Rhino. And once in the ring, Stone Cold takes the mic and he says, "Now, Rhino, I want to apologize for the past couple of weeks. But now that we've taken care of that Neanderthal Triple H together, we can further move along with your training." You know what, nerds and geeks? I'm sorry. I'm a little unprofessional here. Oh, never mind. I can't do it. I was going to take a picture of my dog practically laying on top of my cat, but apparently my dog was on my phone, so I wasn't able to do it before he rolled over. Maybe I can get that one later. But anyway, back to the recording. I was about to be really unprofessional there. But now that we've taken care of that Neanderthal Triple H together, we can move further along with your training. Now, you've been making great strides. Oh, I don't have a drink, so this Austin voice is killing me. And that's why I think you're ready for the next test. That's my dog. I told you he was here. So if any of you dumb sons of bitches want to step up and try to make a name for yourself off the future of Stone Cold Steve Austin, then get your ass out here and get ready for the ass whooping that my boy, the Man Beast. I told you it was killing me. The Man Beast Rhino is about to deliver. Oh my lord, that voice kills you. And that is when a few seconds pass, but then we hear Rikishi's music hits, and out comes the man who did it for The Rock and ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin to challenge his protege and step up. And I didn't put it down here, but I'd probably imagine Undertaker going, "You a dumb fat son of a bitch. Ring the bell." And we have our match. Rikishi's getting better at his gimmick, which, okay. Okay. And Austin came out looking excellent. Rikishi looked dreadful. He just had to stand there, but he's improving in acting. So we move on to the match, and it gets a B rating. Look at that. B rating and a decent match. Rhino defeating Rikishi with a pile driver. Rhino, I don't know if you know how this works, but your finisher is the gore, not the whore. Oh my god, I didn't mean to type that in. The gore. So in a decent match, Rhino defeating Rikishi in 9 minutes and 34 seconds with the gore. Stone Cold Steve Austin on color commentary for this match. Deborah, of course, in Rhino's corner. JR and Jim Ross, work well together. Rhino had an in-ring performance of a B-, and Rikishi had an in-ring performance of a C. So we go to an A-star segment after the match. Hell yeah. The match is over. Stone Cold, of course, he joins his protege in the ring. The two celebrate. Austin raises Rhino's hand in victory. But then out of nowhere, he's clubbed from behind with a sledgehammer by Triple H, who takes Austin down quickly and then quickly turns his attention over to Rhino as both Rhino and Triple H begin to brawl around the ringside. Rhino, of course, taking it kind of to Triple H, but since he was just in a match, his stamina starts to run out, and the match starts to kind of catch up to him, and Triple H gains the advantage, and eventually he puts Rhino's ankle in between the steel steps and slams his sledgehammer, swings his sledgehammer down on top of the steel steps, and slamming Rhino's ankle in between them, and the paramedics are, of course, begging him not to, but he does it anyway. Austin, of course, got up just in time to see Triple H does it, so he's just like, "That's my protege, damn it!" And he goes to chase after Triple H. Triple H sees Austin coming, and then, gets out of the ring as fast as, not out of the ring, but out, jumps the barricade and goes through the crowd as fast as he can, while Austin starts checking on his protege, and Triple H just gets through the crowd. So pretty much here is Triple H kept his promise. He said, "I'm going, if Rhino, if you get involved, I'm going to end you." And, he just broke his ankle, it seems like, so he ended him. Austin was fantastic, and Triple H was the real star. Nothing else really of note to point out here, except it wasn't a star. We then, have the announcers put over that Rhino has indeed suffered an injury, and he will be sidelined for an unknown amount of time. He suffered a broken freaking ankle from Triple H. We then come back from our commercial break. Well, I guess maybe that was, before, coming back, they did announce he's injured, and now we're in our match. Our main event of the night gets a B rating, so it's been like solid Bs. I think almost every match has been a B rating. Got a B rating and about that had superb wrestling and great heat. Chris Jericho in the Big Show, drawing with the Brothers of Destruction when the match descended into chaos after Team WCW, Chris Benoit, Ric Flair, Diamond Dallas Page, and Booker T all got involved and had a match. Imagine, they all go after a separate person. Like Benoit goes after Taker, Ric Flair goes after Jericho, Page goes after Big Show, and Booker goes after Kane or some bullshit like that. Like, referee calls it off. Rock was on commentary for this match. Benoit and Jericho, or not Benoit and Jericho, excuse me, Jericho and Big Show have great chemistry. Jim Ross worked really. Here's something interesting. Jim Ross and The Rock work extremely well together at the announcers table. Wow. Big Show had an in-ring performance of a B+. Jericho had an A. Kane had an A. Taker, A star. Advanced segments, of course, the normals. Any worker improvements? Nope. And then we go to our ending angle of the night, which ends it off with an A. The match is over after Team WCW got involved. Like I said, we have all 4 members fighting, the 4 members that were in the ring. Jericho, Big Show, Taker, and Kane. Rock finally slides into the ring, and he takes his headset off, slides into the ring, and he joins the brawl. Eventually the numbers start to catch up. Now it is 5-on-4 for WCW, and Team WWF once again able to send Team WCW retreating as they stand tall, to end off Raw in the middle of the ring, and kind of, laying down any doubts, maybe Shane was really playing with us. Maybe Team WWF, is all together and Shane's just trying to get in our heads, but maybe he's not. Who knows? Either way, though, the performance of The Undertaker was fantastic. Kane looked good. Rock came across well. Diamond Dallas Page looked good, and Chris Benoit came out of this looking excellent. So a lot of people looked really good in this, and it gained heat for not only Invasion, but Rock and DDP, Jericho, and Booker T. No worker improvements. We go to end the show. We get an A rating, increasing our popularity in 16 regions. And we get to look at Steven Przak for just a brief moment, I guess. We did get the top rating, and IWPR, isn't that, was that one of our developmental people? OVW, no, it's not. It's not. I lied. It wasn't. I just thought I saw Colt Cabana, but I guess it was Cabrera is what I was seeing instead of Colt Cabana, because I think Colt Cabana is under contract with us. Either way, Chris Benoit is apparently the best technical wrestler in the world. I thought we already covered that, but I guess not. We have some opinions. I love these. Oh boy, look at this. The Undertaker already saw potential in Mark Jindrak. That's why it's his protege. But now we have The Rock telling us Mark Jindrak is a star in the making. He could make us some serious money in the future. Mark Jindrak's going to be a star. I'm calling it now. Look at this. Even Undertaker. But he's your protege. Taker, your opinion doesn't matter that much to me when he's your protege. Your opinion's already been noted because I pushed him. Either way, Taker says Mark Jindrak is going to be a star in my opinion. The kid is worth pushing hard. And then Booker T says Rey Mysterio Jr. is going to be a star in my opinion. The kid is worth pushing hard. I agree with all these guys. Rock, Taker, Booker, all great opinions. Either way, though, Nerds and Geeks, we'll end this off real quick by looking at the storylines. Everything's at pretty solid ratings. Either way, Nerds and Geeks, like I was saying, my name's been OMGWTF, LOLFTWBRB. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, because I certainly did. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Not a comment, but leave me a like. Comment if you'd like as well. Let me know. I am looking for names for Sean Stasiak and Mark Jindrak's team, so if anyone has any recommendations, that'd be appreciated. And don't forget to share this video with friends, Facebook, and Twitter. Certainly helps the channel out. And as always, like I said, my name already, and I will see you guys for SmackDown. So until then, have a great day. I missed the button, so now you can have a great day.